You're now listening to episode 78 of Signed In, an Xbox 360 podcast, recording October 8th, 2011. Find us online at signedinpodcast.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superfro33.
I'm Craig Propdresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
Do you guys like it when I just surprise you with when we're starting?
It's never
It's not that surprising. Yeah.
Wow.
You're really predictable.
We're just sitting here jacking around, and then I just always start the show.
Yeah, I'm anticipating it.
Yeah.
Ah, damn it!
Early on in the, moons ago, you might have done it, but
Yeah. We do it on the pull list anyway. So
We don't have
we're
anything
used to
special
it.
between us anymore.
no, this is getting old news.
Maybe we should just
I think we should see other podcasts.
just spend some time apart.
I've been cheating on you guys with the PS3 podcast. I just act
how do you
like
do that?
I don't know. They invited me on the show, and I just act like I played the games.
Oh, so like this one.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna cheat. I didn't even mention it pre-show, but I'm gonna cheat a little later on. And we're gonna talk about that too.
What, PS3? Oh,
Yep.
awesome. I was
I'm
like,
totally bringing that in. So get ready now, kids.
that's right when it shows up on
Yay.
Signed In.
How's
Yay.
everybody?
Good.
Good.
My eyes are itchy.
Your eyes are. It doesn't even make any sense.
Why?
How are your eyes itchy?
They
Pollen.
itch.
Oh, from like allergies?
Something. I don't know. They're
great.
itchy.
Okay.
He put itching powder in his eyes.
I'm not gonna scratch them.
You asked me how I'm doing.
Well, I guess I didn't need like a full.
Well, then you need to
Physical
be more
report.
specific.
Get the chart out.
All right. Well, let's get to the show then, because I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. What? Let's just talk about video games and not our personal ailments.
I don't want to talk about mine. I'm not feeling too great myself. So
You guys are both not feeling well.
yeah,
Not 100%.
No.
I'm never 100%.
Luckily for you guys, I'm
'Cause
like
you're here.
rocking 150% today. So I'm making up for your guys' deficit,
That's good.
as always.
That's good. Does that mean you played a bunch of games?
Depending on what category you talk about, yes. How about you, Craig? Did you play a lot of games?
I got a lot of XBLA, not XBLA. Well, I do have some XBLA to talk about, but
Well,
a
there
lot
you
of
go.
indie games to talk about. Got a demo, a couple Kinect games then.
Wow.
With the demo, and
You do have a lot of games.
And I've got a disc game too with X-Men Destiny.
Ooh, you think you're better than everybody else?
No,
Okay.
you asked me first.
It's true. How about you, Sean?
My schedule at work kind of killed me, and comic books killed me. I mean, I love them, but
I hear that noise.
But it just my
Let's not
nights.
get into your hard life again, Jeremy.
But I didn't really get much in games done. I did get a couple indie games in. Some of the XBLA I got done, and the only disc game I really hit was X-Men Destiny. So let's still played some Gears here and there, but mostly X-Men Destiny. So.
All right. Well, I played one XBLIG. So I'll probably chime in with that when you guys are talking about some
Sweet.
indie games. But I played some Orcs Must Die on XBLA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking forward to talking
Also,
about that.
I went back and checked out a little bit of Driver San Fran after
Nice.
last episode.
Cool.
Oh.
I have a little bit
Demo
more.
or disc?
The full disc.
Disc.
Nice.
I also played a little bit more of Gears 3. A little bit. I finished it out and played some multiplayer, which I'll have some comments on.
Yeah.
I took a look at Dark Souls this week, which I will have some brief comments on with my pain. Also played a lot of Rage.
Yeah.
I've been playing some heavy Rage
Did
amounts.
you play a game?
Yes.
Ba-doom, boom.
I'm Rage. Was that a joke? I don't know. Okay. Such a dick. And X-Men Destiny. So you
Yes.
guys ain't all that. I played it too.
I didn't think I was that.
Okay.
I thought it was so Raven.
I was all, but not that.
I want to set some expectation levels. But that's it. That's it for
Putting
me.
us in our place this episode.
But also at the end of the
I don't
episode,
know.
we're going to talk about between Sean and I, we have a couple Fruit Ninja Kinect codes to give
Yes.
away on the show. So we're going to announce how you can get involved in that and what you need to do to win those.
Yeah.
So we'll announce that at the end.
Get a Kinect.
Excellent.
first.
Stick around. You should have a Kinect.
Yeah.
I want to give them to people who actually would
Yeah.
use the codes.
Yeah.
So if you have a Kinect,
Unless they take
free to
it and
enter.
then frame it, and then, like the printout, I guess.
So if somebody writes in
email.
and their username is eBay accounts
yeah, don't sell it on
001,
eBay, please.
you're not going to let them win? That's
Don't
just
like
cruel.
Kinect guy.
But how about we talk about some games
I'm
then?
not smart.
Unless anybody else has anything at the beginning.
No.
That you need to get off your chest.
No.
Use this as a therapy session.
No.
Itchy eyes, any other rashes
That's
that
not
I need to know
therapy.
about?
Well, I do have rashes, but
You don't have a good understanding of what therapy is, do you?
Do you? Okay, well, my therapist, I go there and I have a full physical. Is that not normal?
that is not normal.
You guys don't have to do the ball cup cough thing?
No.
No, especially not to the doctor. I don't know why you're doing that.
You guys don't have like a therapist. My guy's like he says therapist / proctologist. No, you guys don't have that?
Hold on. Do you feel better when you leave?
I don't know about better. I feel different.
Okay, well, that's working then.
I'm definitely
I don't think you need to look any deeper into it.
having. I will say this. Having a therapist / proctologist leaves you feeling more open in more ways than one.
That sounds like you planned it, but I know you didn't.
I didn't. That's the beauty of this of how I work. None of that was planned.
What are you talking about? This is all scripted.
This is why we need to talk about games, so I don't keep talking about this.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So getting into indie games, actually, a little story here, because I've been trying to clean up a little bit of my hard space because I'm running low on space there.
Amen.
And
I'm in a bad spot.
I'm all right.
I went to my demos and stuff, and I had over 60 demos and trials.
Nice.
Jesus Christ! on my hard space there. I'm like, okay, it's time to start going
Let
through
go,
here.
Craig.
So I've been working my way through, and I
Hoarder.
replay the demo, and then I decide either I'm going to delete it or I'm going to buy it. And so I've been picking up a bunch of games that have been on there for a long time. So I just wanted to mention one that I came across. I mentioned it before on the show, but I wanted to chime in again, especially now that I've played it a little further. And that's Commander World 1. I believe it was 80 Microsoft points from Jordi Giordano. Sorry, Jody. And I think I called you Jordy to begin with. So I completely butchered that name. Commander World 1 is a tower defense game, but it's got a neat little twist to it. And so the design is fantastic. You have Chopin music playing in the background, and I love when you look at the controls for changing the music, because you can switch between songs, and then it's like the description says, enough of this Chopin crap. Let me change something else. What? More Chopin? So
nice.
Yeah, that was funny. But the graphics are like hyper pixelated, like big chunky pixels and whatever. And so the game takes place in space, and there's this enemy force coming into the galaxy to wipe out everything by throwing asteroids at it. And your job is to protect the planets. And so you have one planet, and the number of moons spinning around is how many hit points it has, essentially. And then there's a bunch of other planets, and you can set up your towers, your turrets, basically on those places and upgrade them and whatever. But the twist here is that the path that they're going to follow goes like through the little solar system that you're in, and it'll keep shifting around and around. And so that doesn't really change the length of how long it takes for them to get to the end point, but it does change like how they go past the turrets and all of that. So it requires a little bit of shifting and head planning, and making sure you can upgrade right away. And it can become really challenging, but it's also really quite fun. And then in later levels, also you get money when you're blowing up the asteroids, and you use that to buy upgrades and buy turrets. But then also sometimes when the asteroids blow up, they'll shoot out extra money, and it'll just kind of be floating around. So what you can do while you're watching asteroids go around the chain is hover over like one of the technological planets, and you click on that, and you turn into this little spaceship, and you try to zip around. But that spaceship moves fast, so it's kind of hard. It adds a little bit of challenge for picking up the money. It's not just easy peasy, but and that added a really nice level to it. So if you like tower defense, this has a great style to it and a lot of different challenge. You can actually change the path. Like one of the things that you can buy on some levels is a path, and so you can set that up on planets instead of a turret. And so you can add and if you upgrade that, it makes it go loop around the planet before it keeps going. So a lot of fun little elements within there.
Cool.
Another game that I tried out is called Pigs Can't Fly. It sells for 80 points from Matt Mittman. And this is a very simple little game. And basically, you're a pig who's got like the aviator's cap and the goggles on, and then he's got like these mechanical wings strapped to his back. And it's a pretty simple game. Basically, what happens is the pig is running along, and you're going up and down hills. and one of the buttons, I can't remember which button, causes you to dive. And so what you want to do is you want to have a lot of momentum going up a hill so that you can get airborne, and then you can kind of flap the wings to stay airborne a little bit longer. And then you want to dive back down. You don't want to land, you want to land well. If you land abruptly or pointing the wrong direction, then you're going to slow down and lose some points. But if you hit it, and especially if you hit it on a down part of a hill, then you can get like even more speed and fly up even higher. And the point is to just keep flying, and the more you fly, the longer you can extend the level, and you're picking up points. And I think something was happening at the end of the level. It took me. There was a big.
I think something's happening.
there was a steep learning curve for me on it.
Okay.
Trying to figure it out. I mean, it told me to dive, but I didn't really have a good sense on how to get airborne, and so it took me a couple playthroughs on the demo actually. But it kept making me want to come back to try it out, because I was like, I gotta figure this out,
right?
And once I got it figured out, it was actually pretty fun, and it's got it's well designed. Cool. And once I figured out how to fly well, I could get like really airborne, and then the pig squeals as it gets when it gets really high,
which is what you're really into.
Exactly, it gets you bonus points.
You want the squealing pig sound.
Exactly,
bonus points.
Precisely. I didn't get enough of that in Blow Me Up.
Blow me up. That's a good one. I got Pixelosity.
Yes, Pixelosity.
From GLHF Games.
Yes.
Sold for 80 points. It's 1 to 2 players, also co-op. Just local.
Yeah,
just local.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's a side-scrolling shooter that is totally pixelated like an Atari 62, or not 62, but 2600.
Yeah.
So like you pick up bullet power-ups.
Yep.
So
which lasts just for a bit.
Yeah, there's a timer up above. Kind of, it's really easy. Like just looking at your screen and your display, you know where your lives are at and where your bullets are, and it gets lighter, and then it just pretty much disappears once the bullets are done. And it's just you're going left to right and just trying to go through each stage and make it through. Sometimes the bullets can get a little, like, you can see them.
It can get crazy.
You can see them. I like it because they're big, and they're big and pixelated, blocky, just like
it's really chunky,
like your character is, like your little ship that has a little rainbow trail, and then
and I like how if you push forward, you can essentially just like have this clusterfuck of like bullets that's going to like hit something,
and that's the thing too,
is they'll layer on top of each other.
It seems like it's moving slow, but then once you start really moving, and then you get into an area where you get comfortable, and it's just this rain,
this wall of bullets,
and they're just all like tick, tick, not like
it's like Moonanites,
a little, not like Moonanites, not that
not
slow,
that slow, no.
But it's
I wish.
It's funny.
I would do a lot better.
The size of them, because you're like, I can get around, because they're almost sometimes they're almost. That almost looks like the size of the ship.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I love the look of it.
I purchased it right away.
So, as did I. There's the Konami codes in there. That was
if you go into the pause menu.
Yeah. So if you go in the pause menu, you hit the Konami code. So the whatever up down left right type stuff. Your character turns into like a cat.
Nyan cat.
Yeah.
The Nyan cat, nice.
Yeah.
You already had a rainbow trail as your regular rocket, so yeah.
So it just was really it was a fun game. I mean, for 80 points, and I've played it, just kind of,
and it's a simple arcade high score game.
Yeah,
so it doesn't seem like there's any levels or anything like that. I mean, it progresses.
Yeah, stage wise,
and you have kind of mini bosses or whatever.
Yeah.
but who are just slightly tougher enemies.
Yeah.
But you just go through you have 3 lives or something.
Yeah, and then you can pick up more lives.
Oh, that's right.
As you go. But yeah, I mean, it's
going for high score.
It's just and then there's local leaderboards and things like that. So
Nice.
I didn't play any of the co-op. That might be a little bit on the fun side, but I thought it was well worth the 80 points. A lot of fun. The style was cool. The planes reminded me of the old Tanks and. Was it Tanks and Planes or whatever that game? Combat?
Oh, yeah.
So like some of the different planes had that kind of feel to them. They're just silhouettes. I dug it. Cool.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yep.
I played SteamSunk by Snape for 80 points. If you guys remember, do you guys remember Aqua, the XBLA game Aqua?
Yeah, you know what? I never played Aqua.
Yeah.
Ever. Even though you guys talked about it multiple times.
But you know
it was
about
awesome,
it, right? Yeah, the steampunk sort of
you guys said it was
twin-stick
great.
shooter. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It was fun.
SteamSunk is kind of similar to Aqua, at least as much as I could tell. The demo's kind of short, I mean, it allows you to fight a bunch of enemies, but then it goes into like a very aggressive sales pitch, basically. And so you can't really do anything other than quit the game unless you want to buy it after a certain point. But yeah, I mean, comparing it to Aqua is the best thing I can do because it's pretty much along those same lines. You know, you move around, you move your little steam-powered ship with the left stick, you aim with the right stick, right trigger will fire. You can pick up power-ups, and yeah, it's pretty slick for 80 points. I think there was... No, I have no recollection if there was local co-op or not, but yeah, if you liked Aqua and you weren't willing to pay the 800 points for that, here's one that's 1/10 the price.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, it doesn't quite have as much polish as like Aqua would, obviously,
right.
But it's pretty neat and it's all 3D rendered and it's over the top view.
Cool,
so.
nice.
Another game I played was Fall of Gods Chapter 1 by Geeks for 240 Microsoft points. This is an RPG, and as the name implies, this is supposed to only be Chapter 1. And it's an RPG kind of in the style of, like... I can never properly judge graphics systems 16 or 32, probably 16. Okay. I would probably say 16 bit. And so
we'll allow it.
Oh, thanks. But it's not a random encounter and go in and then do the battle sort of thing. It's more of a wandering sort of creature, and you battle them in real time. And so, you know, it boasts 10 hours of gameplay. In the description, and the demo, of course, is only 8 minutes, but they allow 60 minutes worth of full gameplay, basically, because you can save and then you can load up that save. Yeah, and so, you know, so they allow you up to a full hour of actually testing the game out. I haven't gone very far into it. I mostly did the 8 minutes, and then you know, watched. There was a lot of intro stuff at the beginning, but graphically it's really nice, and it is a great little throwback. They're throwing in a little bit of comedy here and there, sort of little jabs at the genre and other sorts of things, and it seemed pretty nice. The controls were maybe a little looser than I like it. Just walking around was maybe a little bit more difficult than I wanted it to be, but overall it seemed like it was working pretty well.
Cool.
So, and only 240 points. So for 10 hours worth of stuff, supposedly.
I will supposedly.
I am always skeptical.
I had a 240 point game, Wizorb.
Also very much worth 240 points.
Yeah, I haven't bought it yet, but I'm going to.
From Tribute Games.
From Tribute Games. You know, you guys have played what are those RPG like puzzle block brick games? I can't even think of any of the names for them.
Like Puzzle Quest?
Puzzle Quest.
The ones that work like Bejeweled?
Bejeweled.
Yeah,
there you go. So this one is essentially like that, but it's actually like a brick breakout game.
Right.
And you're a wizard, and you're helping these, you know, troubled towns, villages, and you're turning into an orb, essentially, and then killing boxes and
You discovered orb magic.
Yes, and cats, and, you know, you weird...
Those are wolf kids.
They
Come
look
on,
like
they're
cats.
wolves.
So you kill wolf kids, and my favorite thing. But really, the graphics are really cool. It has a total like throwback Nintendo
It feels like an NES game. I mean, it looks like an NES RPG.
Yeah,
like straight up.
And it's really nice.
And I really enjoyed it. I mean, I wasn't expecting it from the pictures from it. The pictures what made me download it, but then when I started playing it and finding out that it was a brick game,
maybe the busiest cover art I've ever seen in my entire life.
Right?
Yes.
I know, right?
It's like I can't even like figure out what's going on.
I know.
When I
went to look for it again, I just went right past it because my eyes just like turn off when I look at it.
It's just like so much stuff going on.
There's so much there.
And then I like also, I wish there's a little bit more of I don't remember them really telling you that you could shoot things, because I'm like paying attention to the bricks. Yeah, but it wasn't until like the next level. There was another level where it was like, hit B to fire.
Right.
But the first level, I could have been firing the whole time because I didn't.
You could have.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I could have.
They're teaching you step by step, Sean.
I know, but let me fire the first level.
So you do have magic you can use while you're doing also the breakout.
You also could have looked at the side where it says A, B.
Exactly, and that's what happened after I was like, "Oh, what is that over there?" Oh,
So, because what you're doing is moving your wand around, obviously bouncing the orb around, but you can also hit your A button, which uses some magic to like launch a fireball.
Yeah,
and then the other one's like,
and then there's a B button that
wind.
Blow some wind.
There's other factors though I saw that it like it depends
if you
on
hit it. If you fire either one of those spells right as it's hitting the wand, if you use the fireball, it turns into a magma ball, and so then it goes straight through things. And then if you hit it with the wind spell, the white magic, then it grows some wings and you can kind of guide it around for a little
short
bit.
period of time. Yeah,
You can kind of move it.
You know, also depending on where it's at, you know, if it's up above, then it's a different magic spell that you're using than if it's on the wand, like you're saying there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a timing issue at that point too.
And also, once you lose a ball, if you have some magic, then you can actually teleport the ball to a specific place using some of your magic. And start it there, which can be kind of nice if you're having difficulty getting into a tight area.
And so then, like with multiple connections of the wand, by bouncing the orb off of it, you gain magic back, but also you can collect it by destroying some of the blocks, and they'll drop down magic potions, and coins and other objects and things like that, and you'll get magic back that way as well.
Now I think you only get the magic back if you hit things 8 times without hitting any, like without destroying anything, like without hitting an enemy or breaking.
I thought it was just like 10.
Because that's when it flashes.
I looked through the thing and I thought it was like if you had 10 connects on the wand without losing it, you got 10% of your magic back.
Oh, I thought it was 10 connects without hitting anything, really. I don't know.
Maybe.
I know because sometimes I would get stuck underneath like concrete blocks and I couldn't get it out, and then it'd start to flash and then something would happen and I'm like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Regardless, I like the balance of it a lot. I mean, I like the options of having that other stuff in there.
Right,
I thought that was really cool.
And so each world, I guess there are 4 worlds, and each world has 12 levels, and you gain money from doing that. And you can spend the money in some places because in the back there are also doors that you can either break through or use buttons to open, or if you have any keys, if it's a locked door, then you can go through that. And there might be bonus levels or a store back there. And but you gain the money because you're trying to go back to this village and help rebuild it by donating money, and they give you
items,
gifts, and things
open
like
up
that.
their shops.
Yeah, open up the shops, and that's a lot of fun actually.
Yeah,
I like that.
Talk to dogs who want money.
Don't they all?
Yeah,
you don't know it wanted money. You just wanted to give it money.
Oh,
it just said woof woof.
That's true. You're right.
And you donated
and you're the crazy guy who gives the dogs $100.
True. Here you go. Here's 100 gold. Woof.
I'm gonna teach my dog to bark at you. Just give her money.
I would give her money if she'd spend it.
This is awesome. I'm on it.
Yeah. I thought it was a fun game. It's
a lot of fun.
I just haven't purchased it yet. That's the only thing.
Did you purchase it, Jeremy?
I haven't because I don't have enough points.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No,
I think my balance is like 210 points right now. I have a huge point card waiting. I just need to put it in. I just got it the other day, so I'm good. I will be getting it though. I do like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Although at first I didn't know there are 12 levels in each area, and I'm like, how many levels do I have to go through before I can get out of here with my money? Because you can't leave.
Oh yeah, because it keeps continuing.
Yeah, you can't leave without your without losing the money. If you want to leave the world, you can go back to the village, but you're going to basically reset yourself to before that. Yeah, you can save though. In levels, so you can save and quit, and then you can come back in the middle of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I thought it was a really fun game. A lot of those Puzzle Quest games I don't like because of all the talking and stuff, but I think with the brick action in this, it's a totally different bird for me.
Yeah, it's a little less RPG.
Yeah.
It's kind of I mean it's
just reading the script on the
very
screen.
Nice dressing for it.
I'm telling you, voiceover works every time, even if it's bad. To all you gamers out there.
All right. We done with that one?
Yes, I'm done with it.
Okay, I want to talk about Mega Shooter 11 from Infinite Play for 240 points, which is, again, in the style of like a Nintendo, Super Nintendo game, but it's a side-scrolling shooter.
And I'm not familiar with 1 through 10, so...
No, this isn't like a sequel.
Oh,
11.
okay.
That's the name of your ship, Mega Shooter 11.
Okay.
Because like there was all this technology, and then the technology rose up against mankind, and so
like it will eventually.
So you're using the technology to fight back against itself.
Nice.
Anyway, and it's a side-scrolling shooter in the style of. I can't think of any of the famous Nintendo side-scrolling shooters.
Dead
like
Pixels.
No.
Yes. That's it, Dead Pixels.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. The answer is R-Type. So you're and there's 4 stages there. 2 of them are available in the demo. There's the Ice World and the Fire World, and basically everything's kind of themed that way. I played the Ice World a little bit, and there are enemies that tried to dive bomb you, and when they would hit you, they would cover you in ice, so you couldn't shoot out, and you were slowed down quite a bit. And then there are also like these things that would create these frost walls, and you had to try and shoot through the frost walls, and it was quite a bit of fun. There's power-ups everywhere, and in that style of the old Nintendo games, it was ass hard.
Nice, yeah.
Nice.
But apparently you're also saving like these ladies who are in these rooms, and they always give you upgrades or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember reading about this game. I believe this game was a candidate for Summer Uprising, and I thought it looked really nice. I think that's true, but
I think that's true.
I know I read stuff about it before, and that's probably where I read it.
We should always have, I think that's true, as a disclaimer on anything we say on this show. I think this is true, what I'm saying, but I don't know.
So it's quite a bit of fun if you have nostalgia for those old Nintendo games, or if you like side-scrolling shooters. Definitely check it out. I think it's going to be worth the 240 points. I don't have enough right now, but I'll be picking it up later. And the last indie game I've got to talk about is Robotriot. I believe sold for 80 points. I don't know. I bought it, and you can't go back and check that price.
Yeah, I hate that.
And from Centurion Games.
I think it was.
And this is a platforming game, shooting platforming game, kind of in the style of like Mega Man or something. Not that you gain powers or whatever, but so you're this robot who works for this repo company, essentially. And so there are 3 different ships, and one's easy, one's medium, and one's hard. And your job is to break into the ship, essentially, and disable it so that they can come and tow it. Since
Sabotage.
Each of these ships has not paid something or other, so they're having their ships repossessed. And so you have to go in there, but there's security defenses that are trying to stop you from doing this. And so you're this little floating orb of a robot dude, and it's really neat. The graphics are fantastic, and you have like this gun that's spinning around you, and then when you shoot, it like stops on your side and fires. And you can get these small upgrades that like has like 2 guns for a little bit, or all sorts of other things. You get a shield, and it's a lot of fun. And there are even like mini bosses and bosses that you can fight. That those kind of remind me a little bit. They remind me a little bit of Mega Man, but they also remind me a little bit of like Sonic the Hedgehog bosses.
Nice,
that kind of style. And great graphics, great sound design, a lot of fun, and it's a quick little game, but it's also only 80 points, if I remember correctly, because it's just the 3 ships, but the first ship has just a couple levels, the second ship has more levels, and the last ship has the most levels, of course. And it could get a little challenging in certain points, in terms of fighting enemies and all that. The platforming itself is not that bad, but it's a lot of fun. I think there are also these crystals that you can pick up, and you get a bonus if you get all the crystals. And a lot of neat little elements to it. And if you like platforming, definitely check that one out.
Nice.
Cool.
But that's it for XBLA.
That's all I had.
You don't have anything else?
Nope. I just had the I did buy Dead Pixels.
Nice.
I'd find
Good.
and it was
Good for you.
and it's
And it's awesome.
and I was able to shoot behind me.
Your 80 points. Yes, that changed the game.
I was like,
totally different.
look at this. I did that like just.
Left
I'm like,
trigger, what now?
I'm wasting bullets, but look.
Man, I did get to some levels there where literally the only thing I tried to do was run through the entire level because I was out of
avoid
ammo,
everybody.
and
Yeah.
it didn't give me a damn trader.
Oh, I love that when you get over encumbered and then there's no trade. Like the first level, it's
Well,
like,
then
totally,
I just
like,
start to
tricks
dump
you.
weapons or whatever.
I know, but it tricks you because there's like tons of little stores, and then the next one is like no store.
Well, they're randomly generated. So.
I don't care randomness. It's all to
Not
kill
random
me.
enough, maybe.
It's not. To
But I
kill
literally
me.
ran through an entire level once. Just like, I got no shooting.
Yeah.
So it was like real life.
Yes, basically.
That's how it would be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just be running.
And me screaming like that. A lot.
yeah.
All right, XBLA time?
Yes.
All right, let me kick it off with Mercury Hg, which sold for 400 Microsoft points. I had to
pretty
do a
cheap.
double take when I looked at that. It's from Iconic Games, spelled with an EI. Iconic Games Limited. I don't know if this is an HD update for something or something like that. I have the feeling like that I saw somewhere that I'm real specific today.
I think that's true.
That this had been released somewhere else or whatever. Yeah, I think that's true. So Mercury Hg, the biggest similarity I can think of off the top of my head is kind of like to Marble Madness.
Yeah.
Where you're in control of this blob of mercury and you're trying to get it from point A to point B without losing it. But as opposed to Marble Madness, it's kind of like, do you ever have that old wooden game where it had the little metal ball?
Yeah, the little labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Yeah, labyrinth. Yeah. And so that's kind of how you control the mercury, by tilting the actual board itself.
Yeah.
And so you start off with like walls around so you can't fall off, but later you can fall, parts of the mercury can fall off. You can still complete it with like a tiny little drip of mercury if you want.
That's pretty cool.
But you gain bonus atoms for doing things like completing it with 100% mercury, completing it within the time limit, there are all these bonus atoms around, and if you grab those, and then there's one other bonus atom. I can't remember what it is now, but it's got some great little challenge levels to it. And the great thing about those bonus atoms is that you don't have to do everything all together. So,
Right.
you can focus on getting it within time for the first one,
that's
or,
nice.
focus on whatever. And you can go through it that way, or you can try to get everything at once, because it also has leaderboards and you get the biggest score for getting everything at once. What's really neat, it's got a really neat soundtrack to it, and the levels kind of pulse to the soundtrack. It also encourages you to use your own music in the game. There's actually an achievement just for playing a song.
That's cool.
And so then the levels are pulsing to your music. And
Did you try it with your
changing
music?
I did,
And
yeah.
how did it work?
It was good. It's good. It doesn't, I mean, it's mostly kind of an aesthetic effect.
Just a visual.
Yeah, because it doesn't really, at least in the levels I played in the demo, it doesn't seem to change anything that would like inhibit you from being able to do stuff.
Okay.
But it does, it actually kind of affects your perception, because the immediate area around your mercury seems to kind of flatten out, but everything else is kind of going wobbly. So as it's going up and down, it can be a little difficult to see like an edge or something.
yeah, sure.
So it can, the more frenetic your music, the more challenging I imagine it would be,
yeah.
kind of judging how far to go, especially if you're going for like a time, a par time or whatever.
Right.
And so there are different sorts of effects. You can change the color of your mercury to go over certain areas. There are switches that you can turn on and off. Magnets that pull and push you away, and all sorts of different things that you have to interact with. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's only $5. So if you like puzzle games that have a really different sort of quality to it, I definitely recommend checking that one out.
That's cool.
We were nice enough to get a demo copy or a free code for Rotastic. We talked about Rotastic a little bit last time, from Dancing Dots. Sells for 800 points. I got to play that some more. I think my opinion of the game hasn't changed a whole lot. It's a lot of fun in terms of using the spinning mechanic and using momentum to kind of go around and pick up stuff. The learning curve is still very steep for me. I still haven't really gotten the full hang of it, but I can do things like tricks, because if you do like a figure eight, then you get bonus points, or you do the big O by going around in the circle, and all sorts of different. That's always fun, especially if you weren't meaning to do something, and then all of a sudden it gives you bonus points for just flailing around the screen. Well, it wasn't a complete loss that I completely missed what I was trying to do. It is still fairly repetitive, and so you should really like the gameplay. It's also not entirely the kind of game for me, because it's one of those perfect run types of games, not unlike Trials HD or Super Meat Boy or whatever, where what you're trying to do is hit that perfect run. And so, I am willing to go in and redo levels over and over again for a while, but then you get to a point where I'm not really gaining anything, and so
And you're not having fun at all.
Yeah, and it starts to become more like I'm trying to destroy the game rather than actually playing it because I'm having fun. I do still have fun with the game. I think it's a neat little style. And a neat little mechanic, but it's not a game that I can sit down and play for hours on end.
Right.
I have to take it in smaller doses, but very nice still.
Yeah, cool. I got a chance to play the demo after last show, and I enjoyed it. Once you start getting into the blades, I was starting to have a little bit of a less fun time. But it was one of those games that was, even though it was annoying me, I kept playing it.
Right.
Because I'm
it's
like,
addictive.
and I dug the style. I love the design of the characters is cool. So
What'd you think of Voiceover Guy?
All right.
Well, when you get to the point where it's like you're trying to do like you've gotten through a level and you're trying to do a better run, and so you can pretty much fail in the first 2 seconds of doing that,
right?
And so then you restart, and he keeps saying the same thing over and over again at the beginning of the level. He gets a little annoying.
Maybe not the kind of thing you would put in a game that encourages you to keep redoing things over and over.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's there's a neat little energy to the game though that reminds me a lot of Rocket Riot. You remember that game?
Yeah. Okay.
And I love that game, and so there's something about it that just keeps bringing me back. It's fun and addictive in that respect. So I'm willing to overlook the things that slightly annoy me.
Sweet. Slightly annoying.
Yeah.
What about NBA Jam?
No, I did not check out NBA Jam.
Nice segue.
That was like a game that I own College Jam, I own NBA Jam back in my Sega days, and I'm not bragging.
I know.
Trust me, I'm not bragging. I'm just letting people know I own these games.
He's got authority.
Yeah, I
know what I'm talking about.
I enjoyed the franchise. I dug the what they did with it. This game, it was like they tried too hard to make the characters look real, that it really made them look really creepy, and the controls were so like even though I looked at the control set after I got hit around a couple times, I was still having a difficult time with the game, and it just, for a game that's an arcadey basketball game, it felt like it was almost along the lines of a basketball game, but with the arcade skin to it.
Yeah.
And it was just driving me nuts. And I had high hopes because I was like, I can't wait because some of those dunks are fun and doing all that stuff's fun. Didn't get that far on that game, and I was like, I'm done.
And they had packaged that that with that other NBA game that came out earlier this year or whenever it was. But I don't think they ever offered it on the marketplace like separate. So I don't know what they did different to it, but I think it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
But now you can buy it by itself.
Right.
And they obviously changed
points.
something.
Yeah.
But I heard that back then people weren't too hot on it then either.
Yeah.
Like that it was such a problem.
It's too bad too because I always liked that over the top because the music was always loud and the announcers were loud, but it just felt like it was I don't know.
So it didn't capture the magic of Madden Arcade.
Not at all. That's a good one. Yeah, it's too bad. Really,
that's our arcade sports go-to.
We should play that again sometime.
Madden Arcade.
So you can beat me some more. That's awesome.
So I can beat you, and I go, I don't even know what I'm doing.
That's always the best.
Is this really a football team?
I'm killing you, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Who are the Vikings?
Yeah, who are they really? That's a good question.
Not that. Just to piggyback on this, while we're talking about the NBA, though.
Yeah.
We may have next episode maybe some 2K12 to talk about, but one of the things I did mention, I forgot to mention to you, Sean, is I heard that they brought in a third commentator for this new one.
Oh, really?
And they did it all together.
Is it Gilbert Godfrey?
Yes, it's Gilbert Godfrey. No, but they did it. They did it in the studio together, recorded their stuff. So
That's
it was a
awesome.
lot of like them playing off of each other directly, as opposed to like just doing their lines and then putting them together.
Right.
Because in 2K11, I thought that stuff sounded amazing.
I think they really. If I was into basketball games, I think the 2K they've really nailed it last year, and I think this year with the way that I like these like little styles to the game. Like this one, they're trying to do like last year was Jordan centric, and this one is like who's the better team of
and they went
the
like,
Lakers and Celtics.
And they extended it out to a bunch of people.
And I thought I'm like, this is the way to do these games because you can play the regular teams, but to have those old ones too, and
the announcers got to give the single player some sort of flavor.
Exactly, and the announcers blew me away last one, so that's really good news.
So they brought in the third. I don't know. I don't follow basketball, so I don't know who the announcer is, but they brought in the third guy, and then they recorded them all together. It is Chuck Woolery, I believe.
It's Chuck Woolery, Bobcat Goldthwait, and Pee Wee Herman. Paul Rubens.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Andy Rooney.
Andy Rooney.
He's the on the court.
I've never understood why there's dribbling.
He's the on court.
That's all it is.
On court specialist. He's talking to the players. Oh, that's cool. That's good news. But
why can't they use their feet?
Too bad NBA.
There you go.
Awesome.
It's not Andy Rooney. He's not in.
Oh, now I'm disappointed.
Did you ever wonder why?
No. Andy never.
No, you old bastard.
What else we got for XBLA?
All I've got is Orcs Must Die.
Yeah.
Unless
It's got an exclamation point. Orcs must die.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
They must.
Orcs Must Die. Orcs Must Die.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yes.
And we all played that? Did you check it out,
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah.
And what did we think?
I had a feeling like I played it before, but was it was this? I must have saw a video on it when it first came out.
You had a foretold dream. Deja vu.
No,
you felt like you played it before.
Yeah, did they have video on it when they were talking to E3 about it? I think.
Yeah, it was pretty big. They had a big presence coming out of E3, I think.
Okay, so maybe that's where I caught some of the...
Maybe.
Because it felt like the gameplay, like I had played it before. I mean, never mind. We can talk about it.
So, it's basically a tower defense force game, or a tower defense game, but really, really hands-on.
Right.
And
kind
you're
of
in the driver's
style
seat.
of Trenched. I mean, sort of.
Yeah.
In terms of the hands-on.
Trenched.
Yeah.
And maybe, it kind of takes what Toy Soldiers
The Horde
2,
feel.
like the Cold War was doing, as far as putting you more in control.
Yeah.
And, it's so much over that. Because you're just throwing stuff up on the sides, like traps.
Right.
On the sides and on the ground. And you're really manning things.
Yeah, so unlike Trenched, the defense turrets were important in Trenched, but they're, super vital in this game.
Yes.
So, yeah, and basically you're this old wizard guy who's been protecting these rifts dies accidentally, and you're his apprentice, and you're also a dick.
Right, a douche.
And so now you're in charge of all this, and you gain new traps every level, or you're able to summon archers or guardians and things like that. And so
it's basically putting up spike traps on the floor, arrow traps on the walls,
tar pits,
spring traps, exploding barrels.
You can even throw up barricades. And I learned that you can actually cut off paths using the barricades. There's one level where it had a splitting path, and so they would go in either direction. So I just put 3 barricades there, so they always went in the direction that I wanted them to go in.
Nice. I did that for a while until got the ones that destroy them. Because then they start just hacking at them, and then they just break down the barricades and go through them.
Yeah, and if you're standing behind the barricades or on the barricades, then as they attack you, then it'll damage the barricades as well. But exploding barrels, there's a variety of things. But then you also have your weapons. You have your trusty crossbow, and then a sword. But then I really like the wind belt. Mm-hmm. One of the things that was my favorite to do, because the wind belt, they introduce it, and your idea is you're supposed to push them into things like vats of acid or magma or whatever. Mm-hmm. But one of my favorite things to do was there was a level where it was very difficult to block them out. There was only a small area where you can bottleneck them. Some levels have a large bottleneck, some have a small bottleneck. This one has a small bottleneck, so I really defensed up that bottleneck, and then I let orcs come as far through it as they could without getting killed, and then I just wind them all back, and so then they'd have to all just come back through it again.
Nice. Very cool.
So that was a lot of fun. But.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun running around with it. I mean, you do have limited funds, of course. You get money by killing the orcs, so you can, between rounds, try and build up quickly. You do get a little bit of a break, usually about a 15-second, 10-second break.
Something like
before
that.
the next wave is starting.
Yeah.
But then
certain waves you can just start.
Yeah, certain waves, they do give you a full-on break where you have to hit the back button or the start button to start the next wave, which is
wave.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because... They usually do that where you need a breather, or it gives you a heads up that the next wave is going to be a little crazy. Mm-hmm. But I loved that because it gave me a second to catch my breath and figure out where I needed to be. And part of the fun for me was obviously going back and replaying some of those levels, because it's kind of a learn as you go kind of experience.
Right.
Yeah.
You think you go in with these plans oh, I see the path they're going to walk down, they're going to go down this way, I got this set up, it's no problem, and then they totally screw everything over on you.
You need a lot of strategy because your traps take time to reset.
Yes.
And also, especially once you get past the first few levels, then you're stuck with a lot of dual paths where it's there's this one that I was trying to get through that has 2 different doors, and they're completely across from each other, and I have to go through a series of portals just to get over there. And it was interesting though, because when it started getting to the point where they're coming in through both doors simultaneously, one side would just have a bunch of orcs of various sizes, and the other one would have a handful of regular orcs and an ogre that would come through that would take forever to take down. And so I would concentrate on the ogre and let my traps take care of the orcs on the other side.
I like the AI of the orcs. I thought they would totally go around traps. A lot of games,
if you just stuck one trap in the middle of the room, they're going to go around that.
But I thought that was really, because some games they'll still have those random guys go on it anyway.
There are a few, especially if you're standing on the other side of it, because if they see you, they're going to beeline towards you.
But that's the thing. I think they did a really good job of it, because normally some other games they would just have it completely where they'll just go right towards you and go over the trap.
Right.
These guys were a little bit.
They're a little smarter.
And I thought that was really
smart as orcs can be.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool part to the game. Yeah,
I am an orcist.
I loved that at the end of every level, you get a new. When you start the next level, you get a new weapon, or a new trap, or a new item,
like there's gonna be a
something that
lot
you can
of them.
use. And I love that because every time I wanted to stop afterwards, I wanted to see how the next thing worked. So it was like such a trigger for me to like keep playing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, what do I get now? I want to go check that out. And you can upgrade all of your items.
Right.
You do earn skulls, a skull rating for each level that you complete up to 5 skulls, and then an additional one if you do it under the par time.
Right.
So I think it's 6 total you can get, right?
Something like that.
Or is it 5 total and one of them is made up from... No, I think it is 6 total.
I don't know.
But regardless, you spend those skulls to upgrade your equipment or your items.
My guess is you're probably not going to get enough skulls to upgrade
Not
everything.
at all. And that's why I was hoping for that you could like replay and like build up those skulls. You can't. It's a one-time thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could, if you only got 3 skulls the first time, you'll get the additional 2 skulls.
But you can't double up on like any other level. So you can only max out at like 5 or 6 for each level, however many it is.
It's really important you choose wisely.
And they are explicit about the fact that if you upgrade this, it can't be undone.
Right.
So you're spending those skulls on that, and that's all you're going to get from it.
Yeah.
And so it's quite a burden for me because I can't ever decide. I'm pretty indecisive when it comes to that
tar
stuff.
pits first.
Tar pit's good?
Yeah, because then you can slow them down and shoot them. Or slash at them with the sword.
Yeah,
I have my tar pit.
I like the tar pit and
I think,
wall arrow combo.
Yeah, that's
pretty
good.
cool.
I think the spike upgrade adds a little bit of poison to it. So
Yeah, it had like a snare that it added in or
something like that.
And I love those bowmen that you can buy.
Yeah, they're pretty slick.
They were cool.
Visually, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the design of it. I love the design of
And
the
it runs
character.
really smoothly.
There's
too.
a lot going on, and I didn't have any slowdown or anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The main character, him and the guy from Brutal Legends should hang out, I think. Because they have a very similar look to him. And I just thought of that whenever I see the
I love
cover.
when you get the victory, there's the shield and the swords, and his head pops up and his eyebrow goes up.
Very Bruce Campbell,
Yeah.
got the bravado and
Exactly.
I dug it. I'm on the fence. I got in just enough to buy this game, and I'm really thinking about it.
I bought it.
Yeah.
There is no like co-op or multiplayer or anything like
There
that
is not.
because it's really a tower defense game.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are leaderboards.
It'd be cool
And that
though
could be a lot of
if they could have
motivation.
done a multiplayer that had somebody being the orcs
Oh,
and like sending through their forces and trying to get through.
kind of like Toy Soldiers multiplayer.
Yeah,
That would be kind of neat.
but they didn't, so let's not worry about that.
So that isn't that's false.
Easy for me to say.
That
Who doesn't
one is
make any
actually
games?
untrue.
That'd have been awesome if they could have done that.
Yeah, but
I offer no help to how
but
to do it.
I'm not very far into it, and I can already tell some of these levels are going to be challenging.
That's where I'm at too. And in fact, I got to some there. I was like, I did like the first couple levels. I did like 5 skulls or whatever, and I did them perfect.
Yeah.
And then I got to like the next couple, and I was like 2 or 3. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So then I just kept going on, but then I would go back. So now I've like gone back and 5'd everything I'm up through.
Yeah.
But I had to replay a couple of them a couple
Right.
times because, like I said,
Same here.
You got to learn by trial. So you got to get in there and figure out how it exactly works before you're like, oh, well, this doesn't work
where
at all.
the ways are going to go. Yeah, and that too. Yeah,
I am terrible at this.
It's a good game.
Yes.
definitely.
All
I
right.
think that's it. So demos,
Sure.
kind of leading into Kinect Corner.
Yeah, I could do touch a little base. I tried the Battlefield 3
Oh, that's right. The
demo. Beta. It's
I didn't.
yeah. That's
Is that it?
it's
That's
not
your
for
talk?
me. I was hoping maybe
know it's
one
not
of
for
you
you.
guys would have played it. I played some of the multiplayer, got out there and died a lot, and
That's what I
that's
would've
about
done.
it. It's just I don't know. It's weird how there was a time where not a time, but what game was it that came out? 1940. I can't even think.
I
of
wasn't
the game.
alive then. I don't know.
Was not the time, but the actual game.
Battlefield 1943?
Yeah. Absolutely positively love that game, and it's a first person. It's totally against anything I've ever played, but I absolutely love that game.
Yeah.
And this game is like everything that game is, but so much harder and so much like.
Well,
I just
the
don't
problem
know.
you run into with that Battlefield XBLA game, though, is that, I mean, it was almost
pared down.
arcadey.
Yeah.
You know, they did a definite,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
it was all about, attrition. You were just, like,
Yeah.
supposed to, like, die and go back and die and go back and do things. And so when you play an actual, like,
First
real
person
deal,
game.
like,
Yeah.
Battlefield game, it's a lot more in-depth
And I
than
hate
you're
that
looking for.
and I
probably.
hate that game that 1943 came out, because every time I think about how I hate first person shooters, I think about that game. I'm like, wait, I like that game.
that
I
game
should
was
try
good.
this one out then. And then every time I try them out, I'm met in the same place. Like, you suck. It's actually someone telling me I suck because I'm terrible. I can't shoot anybody. Anyway. Graphics look good. I mean, that's about
I haven't
it.
checked out the
I
demo.
kind of heard some of the opposite though. Some of the graphics on there were looking,
It
Didn't
just
look great.
from what I heard.
But I don't like whenever they do those beta and you're just doing the multiplayer and you're not seeing any of the campaign because I'm not. That's not what
Because you could do the campaign at your own speed, and you'd be all for that.
Right.
Yep, and I'm all about campaign on those games. So I'll play through those like.
Agreed.
You know, there's no tomorrow.
We are the polar
Anomalies.
opposite.
We are a little-
of those kind of deals.
Yeah, we are a little.
Where we want to play by ourselves and not the multiplayer part.
Yeah, true.
I want to play the campaign. Multiplayer? No, thanks.
Oh, that sounds awful. But I tried it.
Well, cool. That's
you
all.
go.
That's all that
Check.
matters.
Check.
Well, let's segue demos into Kinect Corner here because I tried out the Once Upon a Monster demo from Double Fine, their Sesame Street game. It was actually pretty fun.
I didn't get too far into it because
It's not that long.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I almost kind of I really liked the dialogue that was going on with Cookie Monster and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was laughing at some of the stuff.
I was really like on the side where I wouldn't want to try it because Elmo's in it and he annoys me. But Cookie was like pulling me in, and I had fun with it. I'm gonna totally rent this.
Isn't it
bad
totally
boy.
kiddie though?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's basically it's a storybook, and the controls are really smooth.
I thought
for
that
a
was
Kinect game.
very nice.
Like really nice, and so because you have to flip the pages of the book and like
Pull
if
it
you want
closer to you,
if you
or-
want to enter, you're pulling like tabs on the side, and then basically you're kind of mimicking what's happening on the screen.
Yeah.
And it's not so tight as like Dance Central where you have to do exactly the same moves, but you have to kind of approximate it or whatever. And it kind of got a little exhausting for like when the monster was dancing around.
Yes.
You have to move a lot.
Yeah.
So it was good. I think kids will really get a kick out of it, and it's it's not infant enough that I don't think an adult, like a parent playing along with their kid would not have fun.
Exactly.
Right? I think you could definitely have fun. That way.
It's definitely there. I was saying, like the voices were cool. Visually, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I even liked them. It didn't stop your game. Elmo would be like, "You're too close. You're close. You should back up." Or like Cookie Monster, "Take 2 steps back." Like
That's a terrible cooking.
Why was Cookie Monster so high?
I know. That's me. I don't do a Cookie Monster.
We are the biggest dicks ever.
But well, yeah.
You should back up.
Yeah, exactly. You should. So, kill both of you. But no, I thought visually it was cool. Story wise, it will be a little bit simple, but I think I really enjoyed like the way that the Kinect worked with it, and the way that it just.
It really utilizes the Kinect well.
I know it wasn't like stopping the game.
That's the important part.
Most of those games do that, where you get out of like zone and it will stop the game, which is kind of jarring. Or like all of a sudden a screen will pop up while game is playing. And this one was like warnings from him, or warnings from them, and
obviously it's not going to be for everybody. Both because it's a Kinect game and it's a Sesame Street themed game.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind looking like a doofus jumping around in front of your television, and you can enjoy this kind of humor. There's actually quite a bit of fun to have.
yeah, cool. I agree.
Continuing in Kinect Corner, since I have a Kinect now, I did get a chance to play some Dance Central. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Good.
Looking forward to Dance Central 2 coming out later this month, actually. And the one problem, though, however, I actually have quite a bit of space in front of my Kinect, so I don't have like the worry about standing in too close, but I am very tall.
We discussed that.
And so anything that requires me to put my hands over my head, I have to basically remember to only raise my hands to about the level of my head, because otherwise they just go right off the top of the Kinect sensor, and so that can get a little jarring when I'm actually doing the dancing stuff. And it's pretty darn good about noticing movements and being a little forgiving as well, even when you're playing on hard. But there are a few moves that are like so simple. What I really wish was, because you have the silhouette of yourself and you can see the character, and when you're doing something wrong, the part that is off gets highlighted, but you're looking at what you're supposed to do, not what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And I wish there was like some sort of overlay, because there's like this one move. It was like a robot dancing song, and like there's one where you power down, and that's the only thing you do is you just kind of lean over and like your arms are hanging in front of you, and since it was so simple, basically I kept failing it because I was doing something that it didn't like, but I couldn't
you don't
for
know
the
what.
life of me figure it out. I was trying everything out to figure it out. And it was driving me nuts. And eventually I just said, fuck it, and moved on. But so yeah,
I told you your robot was weak.
I know. Well, yeah.
When we had that
no,
dance
the rest
off.
the rest of the robot was pretty strong.
I know, but you close like shit. That's the problem. Jeez. That's where it all falls apart. That's what people remember.
I know.
Craig.
I know.
I don't know how long we've worked on that power down situation.
I'm just gonna fold up my cardboard and go home.
Goddamn right.
That's awesome. But I like it a lot. Even, going into it, there were a lot of songs on there. I'm like, I don't know about these songs.
Sure.
But just like with Rock Band, where sometimes you're not sure about
DJ Hero.
Or DJ Hero, where you're not sure about a song when you listen to it, but you're actually getting in and playing it, and you can totally get into it.
And then stupid ass songs that are terrible get stuck in your head.
Exactly.
And you're like, I hate this song.
Most assuredly.
Why can't I not get it out of my head? Oh, I know.
But yeah,
I still think that game is like,
fun.
I don't play Dance Central, but I think that is, I love the way that they do the progression of like the training on those. I think that the way that they build on top of the training is brilliant, and I think that it's just really, really well structured.
And one of the most enjoyable menu systems to use.
Yeah,
I find that really easy. Just
really?
Just to raise and lower and then just slide over.
I know Sean had some problems with that, I think.
Oh, really?
Like
I have no problems.
One day, like Summer was having a problem, and I just stepped in, and I just stepped out. It was like, I'll show you, and I'm like, went through like the whole row.
Maybe you had a lighting problem.
I went.
Occasionally, if there's like
out.
a bright light on one part of my body, like it's coming in through the window, it gets a little freaked out.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but since it uses like lasers or something.
Probably because you're naked.
Yeah, Summer's really looking forward to the sequel of that. Looking at the two players dancing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so you guys can hit each other
yeah.
while you're dancing. Oh, my bad.
I was already doing that with Fruit Ninja.
Nice.
Yeah. Smacking people around. I love it.
Competitive.
It was a block. That's all I said. I just blocked them.
Anything else for Connect, gents?
No, that
That'd
should
be
do it for me.
Yep.
All right. Can I mention a PS3 game that I played?
All right. Is it a Connect game?
No.
Then you can't.
Oh, damn it. No, I will say this. I will say this. The Team Ico, the Ico or Eco, I can't ever remember how you say it. But the Ico Shadow of the Colossus HD remake came out.
Yeah.
And it is awesome.
Cool.
Shadow of the Colossus is one of my favorite games ever.
It's a really good game.
And their like whole HD remake thing is amazing looking on the TV, and it sounds fantastic.
The first one played widescreen. That's what it was. It wasn't HD. Yeah. I knew it had something that I went back and tried it out after I got a bigger
All I know is
television.
now on the PS3, it's awesome. So you should check out that collection out there for the PS3 folks.
That's a great game.
Sweet.
So there's my little segue. I cheated on the Xbox.
I miss Castlevania.
What does that have to do with it?
Because it's like Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, that did have those elements. That's true.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
You're right.
game.
Why don't you buy it?
I
That's a
did.
good question.
I did play some Driver San Fran.
Yes.
Cisco.
Oh, thanks. I was a little confused. I thought you were going to say San Fran Drescher.
I gotta tell you,
Franadino.
there is some. There's some things I like about that game, and there's some things I don't. I found it hokey as shit.
The story?
I thought it was hokey.
Oh, yeah.
But not just the story.
Oh.
The dialogue, the voice acting, like it's terrible.
Yeah, that all falls
I couldn't
in the
get
story
around
for me.
it.
That's what I meant.
I couldn't get around it. And
When
so,
you like go into other people's cars and they'd be like, "Man, what you doing?"
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Totally.
I think I had music playing every time I played that game.
That would be helpful.
And I just put it on subtitles.
If I didn't listen to anybody, I think it'd be helpful.
I didn't think the story was that important to the game or whatsoever.
That's true.
It's not. No.
Yeah.
But it's hard to like.
I say not playing the game.
Exactly. It's hard when you're in the game doing it and you have to hear that bullshit every time you jump into a new car, and it's like, you've never driven like this before.
Yeah.
Oh my God, shut up. And the guy's got to make like lame ass comments. And I will go back to the thing that's like, if they're trying to stop this crime boss, maybe you shouldn't be dicking around with all this other stuff.
Well,
Maybe you should
Hey,
be
man,
doing
you
all
got
these
this
other
awesome
things.
power.
That's true. I thought that it worked really well, though. I liked how you bounced around and did things. Mm-hmm. And so I really liked the way that it worked. Mm-hmm. I thought that stuff was awesome. And it was a lot of fun to bounce in and out of the cars and the vehicles and do things like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought the ramming ability was amazing because you could hit the bumper button and basically ram your car into another car.
Yeah.
It would pull back a little bit
Yeah.
And so you would almost like back up, like if you were cocking a punch, you know, and then basically you'd use the car to like ram into somebody.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
Yep.
I would love that in Burnout.
They had it in Blur. It was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Blur.
that's right. They did. Where you could go back and like ram people. I thought the map was really well done because the map was at the top of the screen in like a half circle that stuck, you know, below the top of the screen. But you could also hit the Y button and it would drop that down to about, I don't know, a third of the way into your screen.
Yeah.
And it would expand out a little bit so you could see a bigger area. But you could do that while you were driving. So I was, you know, with the trigger button, I was driving, but I could hit the Y button. It kind of expand my map a little bit, and then when I let up on it, it went back up to the top.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really, really smart innovation, like for them to do map-wise.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would love that in a lot of other like driving games that you could expand it easily without like having to pause it and go into look at your map.
Right.
And then
Which
try
you could
to
also
remember
do
it.
in here, but
Yeah.
you know, it was just on the fly. It was so much better done.
Yeah.
And I don't remember seeing that in another game where you could like instantly like make it bigger without interrupting your driving or your gameplay that you were doing
I
currently.
haven't seen it. I've seen it in other like RPG games, but not in a driving
Yeah.
game.
Castle
So-
Pain. Platformers.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But I thought it was really well done. Unfortunately, I just couldn't continue on with it because it was making me crazy with listening to everybody. So I didn't play a ton of it, but I at least got a feel for it, and I like what it was doing.
Yeah.
I just didn't like how they were doing it. Maybe.
I'm right there with you because I mean that was what I enjoyed playing the game, but there was like if I put it down, I wasn't a drive to get me back to play.
Exactly.
It. You know, it wasn't like nothing pulling me back because I know the feeling, but the story didn't. I wish the story was better. So
Yeah.
yeah,
If they could have worked somehow else,
yeah.
instead of the guy being in a coma and going in and out. I don't know. It was weird.
I do want someone to finish that game to tell me how it ended. I want someone.
You could probably go look it up online
I know, but I don't like
He
that
beats
stuff.
the bad guy.
on the internet. Yeah, he wins probably.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. He wakes up and is like, "That was
And then
crazy,
gets
right?"
trapped in a woman's body.
Ooh. Driver LA.
Anyway, so there's my driver San Fran look. I also played some more Gears 3. I finished out the campaign on Gears 3.
As did I.
I'm still blah about the story. They really wanted to make like emotional impacts all over the place, and I didn't give a shit. And I'm not saying that nobody did. I'm just saying me, I didn't.
I thought they did a good
didn't
job
care.
with it.
That's not why I ever
Your heart
played.
is made of stone. So.
Exactly. And that's never why I played Gears. Like, you know, we talked about Dom crying about his wife in the second one, and I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, who can I chainsaw?
Exactly. It seems counterproductive to how the game plays. I know they want to like have this emotional feeling, but
the thing about the
Doesn't
second
work for
one,
me.
I think the campaign is what really. I didn't care for the first Gears campaign that much at all. I just didn't really like it. I think this one really worked. The second one I loved. Some of the over top stuff they did was pretty crazy, and I think this one had it too. With I liked the way that they paced it and the way that they, the way that they changed up the characters and some of the, the stories. I mean, Baird I really enjoyed. I thought Baird's dialogue was good, especially towards the end when secrets were coming out, and he was he was questioning them, and I thought that was great because as a story wise. I was asking the same questions, and then he's just like, well, what about it? They were just shrugging him off, and I thought that was cool.
I will say that, about halfway through the game, there is a scene that is really well done, music-wise, slow motion-wise, cinematic-wise. That was really well done. But like everything beyond that, like after that, I was just like, okay, everybody's all tough guys. Eat shit.
I thought,
and then like a single tear dropping down their eyes. I'm like, really? And I can't. I mean, it doesn't go that extreme, but that's how I see it in my head when I'm playing the game. Essentially,
yeah.
That's your fan fiction.
see, and I didn't.
That's the start of my fan fiction.
I didn't feel
It's
like
a nice opening.
I didn't.
You
feel-
want to know what's going on?
The title of my fan fiction is
Sean.
"Eat shit," and then in parentheses, or like with
Single tier.
Single tier, yes.
at the well,
No, eat shit, single tier.
However, the stage direction would have to be.
well, it would
tier.
just be eat shit, but then where it'd be an
it's a
explanation.
script.
It'd be an explanation point, but it would be a tier for the dog.
Ah, nice.
See, that's how it works,
Well
guys.
done.
You
See,
win.
you got applause.
Hello.
Somebody just stole that shit. That
No.
applause came from home. That wasn't even here. That was somebody listening. They just clapped.
I just trademarked that. I always have a notary here. We have so many good ideas on the show.
But we also did play some multiplayer. I got on and did what we did like a 4-hour night of that one.
Yeah,
night,
we did.
3-hour night,
Yeah.
something like that. It felt like about
I can't
an
believe
hour.
you guys waited so long to play multiplayer.
I know. Well, it had to. Everybody needed to be online.
Oh, okay.
Needed
Yeah,
the right
we
mix
got
of
the
people.
we got the band back together.
I did. It was awesome. I saw a lot of people that online that I could have played with, but they were playing like multiplayer campaigns.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to
yeah.
So I wanted to
Horde.
play co-op, and so I wanted to play some multiplayer like deathmatch stuff, which we did, and we had a lot of fun. And then nobody was connecting to our games, and we just played against bots, and that was even more fun.
Yeah,
because then we could actually win.
It did.
We're terrible.
We did tear it up then. But a lot of
But we had a lot of fun.
I played.
You said the bots on derp level.
No,
That'd be a great level though. I played a little last night, and they have a big head going on over the weekend.
oh, that's what I heard. Yeah, I need to check that out.
So they're everybody's normal size except for their heads, but they made the voices all like.
That is awesome.
And it's
So can you just headshot them anywhere on their giant head?
Well, I think the game mechanics are still involved. I don't
okay.
because you're in cover and your head doesn't stick out
That's
as
weird.
much.
I need to
still
see
does
this.
a little bit, but not as much because I tested it.
So are you like that MTV cartoon, The Head?
I don't remember. Oh no, not like that.
It's not a little monster living in your
It's
head.
more just cartoony fun time
Yeah.
happening. But yeah, I played a little last night. Just got annoyed and quit really quick. I just was in the wrong room.
That'll happen
I was in
sometimes,
the
right?
wrong.
Yeah, because
room.
they're doing those Easter egg things for the beta.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they've been doing
Because they
things-
did the Easter one specifically where you could be a rabbit.
Yeah, they're doing things different every week and just changing it
just every week?
Yep, they're just
Wow.
changing it up and adding new things to like horde modes and kind of the stuff they were doing with Gears 2 during special weekends, but like XP weekends. But it seems like they're kind of mixing
Like
things
what
up
Left
here.
4 Dead 2 was trying to do for a while.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Do that?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
I love that game too. That's that game.
But yeah, I'll still be
Still
playing.
there, Sean.
I know it is.
There's still tons of stuff I need to do in Gears 3.
Stop.
You know,
Yeah,
even though
whatever.
I've gone through the campaign, I need to go back and find some of those collectibles if I give a shit. But I also we still need to do the beast mode. I need to get through some of the horde mode. And obviously do some co-op campaign.
Yeah,
So
this coworker got through insane to level 12 on beast mode, and I asked him how, and he's like, "It's really hard." I'm like, "That didn't answer my question."
that helps me none.
I was like,
Trade secret.
thanks,
and
Dick.
he's well, I got together with and then he's like, I'm like, okay, all right. Don't tell me it's really hard. I know it's really hard. I didn't even get
why I
past
haven't done
one chapter. I don't think so.
Durr.
And DLC coming up on that game too,
Yeah.
and I'm. It's hard not to have that in my Xbox right now. So
There's other stuff going on.
well,
What are you gonna do?
I know there's other stuff going on, but it's hard not to not play that game. I'll get other games, and I need to play Gears. I just like it.
So I've also I checked out Dark
sick.
Souls, and I'm no good at that game. And I knew I wasn't going to be good at that game. I didn't play Demon Souls from PS3. I didn't check that out at all. But I knew, that it was hard from everybody's talk back then about that game. But I gave this Dark Souls a try, and I played a couple hours last night, and I literally have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I feel so dumb, and it feels a little Shadow of the Colossus in that way.
We're sitting there. Am I making a sandwich right now?
Exactly. I might as well have been. I mean,
I don't know what's going on. What's this thing in my hand?
I love the concept, but it's like once I got in and looked at, it's just so hardcore. Like, it is so
Yeah.
hardcore on not only the way that the game is played, but like some of the mechanics of the game, and they really don't explain anything to you up front. It's all kind of like trial and error and learning stuff, and it's all about dying and learning from dying and like redoing things. And I don't know if I'm built for that at all. I put it off playing it this week. The curiosity got the best of me at the end of the week, like last night.
Yeah.
But I put off playing it this week because I'm like, I know that I can't do this.
Right.
But then I was like, well, maybe let me take a look and see what it's all about.
You were hoping to discover a superpower.
I was.
You're like, maybe I'm the whiz.
It definitely made me feel a little Shadow of the Colossus as far as like you don't know what you're supposed to do. You just have to kind of learn as you go.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that same boat. So I might spend some more time with it. And so maybe we can talk about it next time and I can give some actual insight into the game. But right now it's kicking my ass.
Kicking your ass.
It is. But we'll see how much time I put into it. But what I did, do you guys have any other disc games other than X-Men? Or
No.
I'm going to talk
X-Men.
about Rage a little bit.
Okay.
Because I did play some Rage, and I played quite a bit of that. No, that's different, I think.
What?
Rage?
Yeah. Isn't that? Oh, never mind. That's Raid.
Yeah, I think it's something different. It looks amazing. It looks phenomenal. Outside of that, though, I don't know. I don't really know how to take it as of yet. I don't really know if the game knows what it wants to be.
Right.
It's such a weird mashup of like different genres where it's like a first-person shooter, but an RPG light, but also a racing
RPG
game.
Ooh.
Here's the thing. That's why I said that Sean should probably check out the game, because I think there are a lot of elements that you would maybe like.
I think so.
It's very Borderlands meets Fallout, but completely streamlined.
Nice.
Like, at first it was a little off-putting to me. So you're running around and you'll go into you're in this basically overworld, this wasteland that you're in, which really you only traverse by driving. So you drive your buggy thing around, so like you would in Borderlands, but there's really you can get out and walk around, but there's no option to do, or you wouldn't want to do it. It's not like there's people running free. It's other buggies that are driving around. So it'd be like in those sections.
Yeah.
So you're basically using that wastelands to get from point A to point B, running around doing a bunch of missions for people, which that's the other problem is I'm about 4 or 5 hours in and I'm really just doing a lot of bitch work.
That's what I hear the majority of the game is.
And that's weird because there's really no story substance at all.
That's been the biggest complaint. From what I've been hearing is that there's not a lot of substance in terms of...
There's not.
Of like immersion in terms of like story and all that.
Yeah.
But... I hear the gameplay is pretty good. It's pretty solid, and it looks really great.
I'm still driven to play because I like the environment and like what I'm doing, but there's really no like rewarding feeling of like progressing story-wise or anything. So it's weird because I'm at odds with it, where it's like I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm having fun.
Right.
Which is okay, I guess. I mean, if you're playing a game just to play it and have fun, that's also part of the draw, right, for any game. So so you'll basically drive from point A to point B doing these missions, and you'll go into these hideouts or these set locations, and then at that point it becomes a first-person shooter where you're kind of in a narrow hallway and going through areas and clearing out bad guys that are rushing up on you or shooting you. And so that becomes a first-person shooter in those instances. But then there's also driving elements, like I said, when you're getting those point A, point Bs. There's also races that you have to compete in.
Cool.
That those races and have different types where you're either beating a park, like a course par time, or racing against other people and like trying to come in first, or racing with other people with weapons. So you're also trying to come in first. And by those, you earn these other markers, and then you use those to buy items to upgrade your vehicles. So you can then upgrade your vehicle so it goes faster, has better guns,
so it's totally
outfitted
two
differently.
Different upgrading.
That's because you're also upgrading yourself. So when I first went in and I did my first couple of missions, and you're shooting guys and you're going through the first person shooter kind of like segments, and I would shoot a guy and he would be shooting at me with a machine gun. Well, at this point I have a pistol. So I would shoot the guy, and you go up and basically search him for his stuff, and you would get like some money.
Right.
But their guns all disappear. So there's part of me that goes, I'm in that Fallout Borderlands situation where I'm like, well, I should be able to take everything that they have. I'm like, this is kind of lame that a guy is shooting me with a shotgun or a machine gun, and I still have to run around with my pistol. Like, why? It's sitting right there. Oh, wait, it just disappeared into the ground. It was really hard for me to get over that. But then I started appreciating the streamlinedness of, well, I only got to worry about one gun now.
Right.
Because management of items becomes such a burden for me.
You, yes.
Yeah, because I have mental problems. So
I forget about items, and I'll have the
This is what you go to therapy for.
I'll have the weakest gun and have the best gun in my
exactly.
inventory.
Because
I'm terrible.
Because you get used to using the same thing, and that's what I do all the time. I ran into that with Dead Island, where I would not upgrade because it seemed like too much of a burden for me to figure out what I needed to use. I'm using this one, it works, so I'm going to do with that. So what happened is I would get new items as missions would come up. So it'd be like, oh, here, we need to do this. I'm going to give you this shotgun. Yeah. And that's how you would get new items.
Cool.
And so they were spaced out, and I kind of got used to using them, and that was a much better way to go about it. So now I worry about like buying ammo for like 4 or 5 different things I have, but they've all been given to me. I don't have to worry about switching out weapons.
Right.
Cool.
It's, a constant thing. You get... Really, there's limited items you can pick up throughout the levels, and they're things that you go back and sell, and they're things that explicitly say in the item things like, just sell it. Because I would hang on to this shit. There's really no reason to hang on to them. There are items you get that are tools.
Maybe this plate will be in
exactly. Although I will say that there was an awesome little Easter egg in there of a Vault Boy bobblehead.
And there's lots of Easter eggs in the game from what I've heard.
So I grabbed him, and you can sell him for $150, which I think you're only supposed to sell him, but I'm not selling him because I love it. I'm going to hang on to it for no reason.
Yeah.
But you do also get ingredients because you do get whatever.
Right, because Bethesda worked on this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
a Bethesda game. They published it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's okay, I guess.
Yeah. Well, because the other Easter eggs that I've heard of are for id Software.
Oh,
like
that
their
works
old
too, yeah.
games, since they're the designers.
Yes. So there are other ingredients you pick up because you do get schematics and things that you can build, like grinder things that you use to unlock doors, and then other I really like the system that you have this like defibrillator that you can use. And so if you get downed or killed, basically, because you have limited amount of life, but it does replenish on its own. But if you get overwhelmed, you're going to die. You can use bandages and give yourself like an instant heal. But if you don't, you'll die essentially. And what happens is this little mini game comes up, and it's a defibrillator, and you have to do the left and right stick of like one of 6 different directions, 3 directions for each, and match them up. And if you do, it like gives you a bonus or whatever. So you keep doing that as many times as you have in this limited like 15-second, 20-second interval. And then it does a little screen that goes back and forth, and you have to do the L and R, the left and right triggers at the right time. And it basically jolts you back to life with a percentage of however many you completed of your life back returned to you. And it gives a little electric shock to anybody that's around you when you do that.
Nice.
Cool. So it brings you back into the game, and then your defibrillator will restore itself or like revive itself. I can't think of the recharge. That's what I'm looking for. Recharge itself over a period of time. So it's a one-time use instantly, but then it takes a little bit for it to build back up again, and it'll flash up on the screen to let you know when it's been used, when you can use it again. But it's a little instant like save all the time because and so it's really awesome. I like that system a lot. So you're not left out like of dying, because I had it happen just last night when I was playing. And you can save. Saving is all on your own. There is an autosave that happens, but you can also save anytime on your own, and it's recommended to do so, and I forget to do that. So if you die, it'll load your last checkpoint or your last save point. So it's good to remember to do that on your own. But I really love the way that is worked into the game as well, and just the overall streamlinedness of it like has been probably the thing that's kept me going, because there's not a lot to manage. And I look back to Fallout and I'm like, God, why haven't I played that Fallout? Oh, I know why. Because it's sometimes just a little too much to even think about getting back into. And this doesn't have that.
Cool.
And it looks amazing.
Yeah, I was kind of apprehensive of it just because it's the first person from Frankentrooper.
But you liked Borderlands.
I did, but I just think that the over-the-top craziness of that game and just the willy-nilly just shoot and run and the vehicles.
I will say it doesn't have that. It doesn't have the like comedy for me as of yet. There's not the funniness that I had with Borderlands, but it looks so goddamn good that that. And I think it's going to have other aspects that you like in it as well, like the racing thing.
Yeah,
I think you're going to like
very interesting
a lot.
Yeah,
and the thing for me though is it just feels small right now. Like it feels like it's a really limited area. So I don't know if that opens up as well later, or if it's always going to be this like feeling of like really a small area that you're driving around in or doing stuff around in. The other thing I think is weird is that I would make headshots on people and they wouldn't die. Like they would take like 3 headshots. Like if I shoot somebody in the head, like I would get some programmed at this
metal
point.
Plates.
Well, they would have helmets and you could shoot the helmet off, and then I'd shoot them in the head and they'd fall over and then get back up. So I'd have to shoot them like 4 times. And these aren't like demon mutant things. They're like regular dudes.
You got to buy better bullets.
That's probably the case.
Rubber bullets.
Because you can get multiple. I do like also how they manage your inventory, because you can... I think you can bumper button or Y button and cycle through, but you can also hold the right bumper button and it'll bring up like a little diamond thing, and it'll allow you with the right stick to choose which weapon you want of your 4 selections, and then on the left stick it's what bullets you want in that gun. So it's really handy and really quick on the fly to change up your bullets.
That's cool,
because every gun has different types of bullets you can use as well. Like stronger ones and things like that.
Talking about better bullets reminded me of Metro 2033. I'm looking forward to Last Light.
There you go.
Yeah,
the new one.
Is that this year or next year?
I think it's this year.
Is it really?
Maybe. Yeah, it might be this fall.
It could be.
I can't remember.
I have no idea.
And then also in Rage, one last thing about Rage is there's a couple mini games in there.
Yeah.
But there's a
Super Breakout.
There's a collectible card game mini game in there. Are you kidding me? I ran up to this guy.
That's
He's like,
awesome.
Oh, I'll give you this deck. It's just a bad deck, a starter one or whatever. So you buy it and you play. But you also find collector cards around the game, and I didn't know what they were. I thought they were just collectibles to find.
Right.
So you find these cards of characters that you've run into, but you can now use those in your deck. And so they have like attack values. It's like, and some of them give bonuses. Like this guy will give all settlers +1 to his like attack or +1 to. So it's like a total collectible card game inside the game that you can play as a mini game.
That's crazy.
It's like Final Fantasy VIII.
Yes. But it's even more so because it's total straight up, like, you can put together, like, I got this guy's that I found his card, and he gives all these mutants, like, +2 to their attacks, so now I can make a total mutant deck. You know, so it's totally nerd school right here. I'm all in on the nerd stuff.
Because when you're fighting for survival in the nuclear
you want to take
wasteland,
time to do a CCG.
You got to play some Magic.
That's correct. I love it. I think it's really awesome and well done.
That is fun.
It's a neat little add-on, I think.
Yeah, that's a neat little...
That's cool.
So I'm going to play more of it. I'm having a blast with it, and I could just sit and look at it for hours. So
awesome.
Maybe got the best sky I've ever seen in a game.
I'm going to...
Even though it doesn't move. It's a little weird, but it's a picture of a sky, and that looks awesome.
I will just have to check it out.
You will have to do that.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
I'll put it on the list.
On the list, the short list.
It is this week, so...
All right. X-Men Destiny, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
I'll start it off.
All right.
I'm a little mixed on this game.
Let's get the X-Men fan here.
Yeah, do it.
You know, right off the bat, I enjoyed it. I liked the story. I haven't completed it yet because I must not have had that other hour to spare. But
it's about 5.
Yeah.
I finished it in the night.
That's what it sounded like.
You did,
and I've put about.
I finished it in 2 nights,
and that was not a long night either.
And
I came home from work and finished it before going to bed.
And I haven't. It's starting to amp up to where I'm at now, so I have a feeling I'm getting towards the end. But you start as either 3 characters. There's the hate guy. His dad was a part of the whatever you call
Purifiers.
The Purifiers, which of course do not like mutants. There's a chick that jumped ship. She was a stowaway from China, Japan. Sorry. And then there was
her parents were mutants.
a football player from San Fran that's just there to see what's going on. I didn't,
because I'm playing as him.
but
that's what he says, and I'm like, oh, because he's a mutant.
And you can just pick on which one you have, and then of course there's a certain power set. I think there's a mental one, an energy projection one, and almost one like a Wolverine type one. It's like a dark power, shadowy, weird.
Oh, the other one's not mental. It's mass density. Because that's the one I chose.
Mass
density. Oh, like a tank.
Yeah, because I chose the football player, so I went with the mass density stuff. So he grows like this obsidian rock over himself, and like can do all sorts of cool things.
I should have picked him because that would have been cooler. But
who'd you pick?
Oh, I picked the
Jubilee,
the Dark Shadows thing. No, I picked the bad guy because I wanted him to turn good.
Oh,
spoiler!
I picked the girl, and I did the shadowy thing too.
Yeah. But and you fight along the Purifiers because they're wreaking havoc in San Francisco, and the mutants get blamed for it, of course.
Well, and there's more before that. Like, I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but that cutscene, that weird cutscene that they show at the beginning, that looked like the Dead Space 2 commercials. Remember those?
Oh yeah, the Ron Lin drawn stuff.
Yeah,
or is that the stuff?
I don't remember this at all.
If you may have skipped past it because if you open up, then it's like earthquakes and all this stuff is happening all over, and the economy fails, and everyone's blaming mutants. And so then, like, this is all backstory. This is why San Francisco is so fucked up because the first time I played it, I didn't pay that much attention to that stuff, and I go in there and I'm like, what the shit? Like,
why is there a war zone?
Fences and chasms everywhere in here.
Oh yeah, no,
and apparently the country has been rocked by like disasters and earthquakes.
So what they maybe should do is show you that after you hit the start button.
Yeah, maybe. Because this is before you select to start the game. So
and it plays any time. So like if you're just in a stall and your guys are just standing there, it will go to that scene.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What? Yeah, and Ron Lim did all the art, which I thought, which I'm not a big Ron Lim fan, but I dug the art. I thought it looked cool because it just was neat. Mm-hmm. But then you have the Purifiers, you're fighting them, and then as you go through, you run into Brotherhood members and you run into X-Men, and you choose to work with the Brotherhood. And then that joins more towards their faction, or you choose to run to the X-Men.
So it's less of a destiny and more of a choice.
Yeah, and exactly.
Which is not mattering anyway, but whatever.
But it's along the lines of any of the Activision X-Men games or the Marvel Universe games. In my opinion,
I was really reminded of Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah,
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 in particular.
And it's really
why was that game terrible?
That's the one people didn't like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 as much as the first one.
I would play that for 100 hours straight before I'd play this game again.
I didn't have a bad time with it.
I'm actually playing. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's kind of dull.
It is dull.
It's the most boring game I've ever played.
Halfway through, and there's a boss battle about halfway through, and I'm like, can this really just be the end? Because I would like that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a good game.
Yeah.
This game made me... There's a lineage here of like those Ultimate Alliance games, those Legend games. Like, why can't we remake an X-Men Legends game instead of getting this?
I thought
real.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. That was the same that I got from any of the X-Men or any of the...
I never played any other X-Men games, so I don't know.
Ultimate Alliance games?
Yeah.
It's just button smashing and fighting people. That's all it is. It's the same thing over and over and over.
It
and
is,
over
but
and over and over.
I think the trick is that with Ultimate Alliance, you could constantly switch between heroes. I mean, if you got bored with doing something, you just go to a different hero.
But in the end, you're still doing the same thing.
And so how they make up for that this time around...
You are, but you're at least visually looking at some slightly different things.
Yeah.
And then how they make up for that this time around is putting in those gene ability things where you can change out like how your setup is, basically the X genes, so you can like switch over to be North Star or whoever's powers.
Your attack.
Which changes your attacks and your abilities that add on
change a lot of
modifiers. It's all it changes.
Yeah.
But I like that. So I liked elements of it.
I like the development because you actually do develop your powers. So you start out choosing the set, and then you start off with your first set of powers, and then you develop more. Because, like I said, I went with the football player, and so I gave him like the mass density abilities, and I decided not to give him any sort of projectiles or anything. I didn't want him to be throwing stuff. I just wanted him to be a wall, like a literal rock wall. And so I chose like the barrier that he could create, and he would grow rock on his body the more that his X meter filled up, and just stuff like that. He could like reflect projectiles and just kind of developing in that way, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, what I got out of it is the same as any of those Activision games. What I'm there for is the comic book aspect.
Right.
I'm there for the nerddom. That means I gotta smash buttons to get to the next character. Oh, what's Mystique doing? It's the same, but I want to know, and it pulls me in, and I want to just keep following the story. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the one thing I liked about it. A disc game...
I guess maybe the story was okay.
Disc game, not that great of a disc game, in my opinion. I thought that's the thing. I think the graphics, it wasn't polished.
Yeah.
It was almost at a part where it was
rough.
Almost there, and then they just quit. I mean, because you'd see the beam from Colossus's eyes, it would look better than the actual like graphics, or it would look worse than the actual graphics. There was no even amount there.
That's a perfect way to put it. There was like actually a point where I was battling that boss that I was talking about before, and like he would shoot a beam, and like you could see like the pixels when it was hitting the ground. The rest of it looked great. Like if you look back at him, it was like really smooth. But then like there was all this gross pixelization up front.
And that pulled me out of it for a couple, some of the battles and some of the scenes. So
I agree.
But in my opinion,
but I also agree that there's like these points where it's like, this really should be, I should have a higher opinion of this than I do, because there would be like these glimmers of like, this is kind of neat, but I don't know.
And that's what I'm. It is kind of. I think it is kind of neat.
Yeah, I think overall.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm playing through a second time now.
But
I think
the best game in the world. No,
I think there are mechanics in it that are really well done and interesting. But I think that the shell that it's in is terrible.
Yeah,
like I think that like the way you get to like from point A to point B using those mechanics is not interesting at all.
Right.
I think the story is like it did nothing for me.
It's pretty threadbare.
I found that the Brotherhood X-Men choices like were really not important at all. Like it would basically just be doing this mission instead of this mission. It didn't really matter because you ultimately get to a point at the end where you say where you want to go anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did it matter what faction you built up? Because at some point you do have to answer the question, and that's what makes it.
It does affect how they interact with you. Like
they say
it changes conversations.
Yeah, and that's it. And so ultimately, nothing really. I mean, you hear a couple different lines, and that's about it.
Well, so did you try going and like siding with one side and then choosing the other side at the end?
Well, I chose both sides, because I rebooted and did that boss fight like 3 times so I could get both of those achievements, because I was never going to play that game again. But it didn't do anything different.
Okay.
Cyclops was just like, okay, you make your decision then. Good luck to you. Take care.
I thought the voice acting for Cyclops was good.
Well, that's okay. I'm not saying the voice acting
was pretty good.
I was more commenting on the fact that it didn't matter what it did.
Well, I agreed. But it's really weird how there's a lot of good things about this game that I was like, they made the right decisions, but then when it was completed, it wasn't completed.
Yeah, it's like there are these neat elements, but they weren't all hooked together properly or something.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. And then there are other elements in there that are very reminiscent of Marvel Ultimate Alliance too. I'm not going to say anything since Sean hasn't finished the game.
And I really don't like how like you find the costumes. They should just have different costumes for the characters, not a Wolverine costume for the guy.
I know. I agree.
It was ridiculous looking. It was just, and that was where I was running into a problem.
It's Wolverine inspired.
But that's the thing. If you were they should do that, but actually make it more towards that character and have it be his costume that's inspired by that character.
That's kind of what it was.
But it was Wolverine's costume.
Not exactly.
No, not exactly. But it was Wolverine's costume.
Can I say this too?
Well, that's because you get a Wolverine power with it.
I know, but they could have still put in that kind of flair, but not had the 3 spikes on each side of his chest, on his ribs. Not the blue and green, blue and yellow. They could not have had
Colossus's
that stuff,
was a different color scheme,
and that worked. Because that looked like a generic.
That looked like one specific.
That looked like a generic X-Men out. Well, I had a problem with the Pyro one too because it looked like Pyro's outfit. I was just like, you know what? Just he starts the game as just a guy wearing like a regular clothes and stuff. Take his style, take his attitude, and then put it in a costume. It was like they didn't think. I would have thought that.
I also thought
I'm a dork like
there's
that.
hidden challenges,
and I would have drawn costumes.
Yeah, the challenges.
There's hidden challenges, and I thought those were terribly done too. Where you just like walk into an open doorway, and then it like just fades to black and goes into a hidden challenge, and then you're done. Like it just was really nondescript. Now I understand you want to have it hidden,
right?
But it just seemed weird because some of them were just really nondescript, but you were going into a place and
you could usually pretty much tell. Like there would be a door open and there's like no other doors open or something.
Exactly.
And then also like
or what typically what would happen is because they have those markers, and so on your map there would be like a red triangle pointing you in the marker, and if there's a path going the other way, I'm like, I'm going this fucking way.
Over there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also like anytime you had to do anything against like inanimate objects, there was no feedback whatsoever.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, destroy this thing. And I go over and punch it. And I'm like, am I doing anything?
Yeah.
It would make until it just broke. And then all of a sudden it would break, like if you hit it 4 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did I know I was supposed to like do that? It looks like every other piece of background. I go punch it and it acts just like if I was hitting a wall.
Right.
Yep.
Until it just changes the animation. Now it's broke.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it was just terrible.
And that just leads to that whole
laziness.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it wasn't. Like they had it all there, and then they just gave up. Like towards the end, it was just like it's close enough.
To me, it feels like they came up with the concepts and how the like characters were going to develop and the things that you could do with the different abilities, and that was obviously their core. And they worked that, and then they're like, "Well, how are we going to do this game around it?" And they're like, "Oh, we'll just do this.
Yeah,
you just go into this area, beat up a bunch of people, go to this one, and."
I do like the powers, the combos. I like the combo effects, but the combos themselves just being XY, XXY, XXXY. That's a little unoriginal, but I did like the powers. Like my mass density guy, his ultimate power was to turn into like this giant rock giant that would just like smash everything around him.
Yeah,
which was a lot of fun.
And I thought I liked that that introduction and like the way that. There's like there's a tether where you pull all these guys, the one power, the dark power, and they go in like this tornado almost, and they're flying around you. And then you just hit them while they're in the air. It had all that kinetic feeling that I got from the Ultimate games, the Ultimate X-Men games, or the X-Men Legends or Ultimate Marvel Alliance. But it just missing something.
I kind of wonder how someone who wasn't very familiar with the X-Men would think of the story, though. Like, I could piece stuff together because I know enough about the X-Men, but it was kind of a weird throw in, especially with the destroyed San Francisco.
Yeah,
I thought Chinatown was underground at first when they first entered it. I'm like, am I underground?
I know.
Then I realized I wasn't. Then after I realized San Francisco was supposed to be like all rubble and stuff, then it made more sense to me.
I didn't like Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
really?
I don't like him ever.
I kind of liked him.
You don't like him ever?
I'm done with Nightcrawler.
Ooh,
yeah.
This is part of his. This is a stage in his mourning.
Well, he's not alive, right?
Exactly.
So you're fine with that?
Yeah.
What? They're bringing back the other one? Is that what they're doing?
There's other things involved.
Age of Apocalypse?
There's other things involved too. Remember all those Nightcrawlers from Grant Morrison's run?
Maybe we can take that offline.
Yeah. Anyway.
Take that off.
Take that offline.
Yeah, we can talk about that
All
later.
right, anybody else got anything else to say about X-Men Destiny?
I am playing through it again to get the 1,000 because you get a lot of the achievements running through it the first time. But and when you go through again, you can continue basically with the same powers and the same XP that you had, and so you can max out that stuff, which makes going through on the harder difficulty much easier because you already start off with like superpower.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I wanted it to be better than it was. Like,
So did I,
there are
too.
these really nice
So did I.
elements to it, and it just, I don't know, fell a little flat.
It was like an XBLA game, and not to wreck on XBLA games, but it just felt it feels small for a disc.
It doesn't
game.
feel like a $60
I could say,
game.
I would say it
No.
feels small. Yes.
No.
Yeah. I understand what you mean by that. Yeah.
And I wanted better collectibles.
Like, if they're only
when you
gonna-
have a comic book based game,
I know, right?
you should have better collectibles than just bios of the people drawn terribly.
Snap.
That's all I'm saying.
Some of those X genes were kind of cool though. Avalanche's like special one, I guess, was to help him. Like he would shake the ground and you would
Yeah,
slide along with that.
I was using it, and see, that's what I really liked. I liked those abilities, and I liked messing around
And I
with
liked Colossus's because every once in a while I would just turn metal when somebody would try to hit me, and so like
Yeah.
they would shoot at me, and I already had something reflective, so it was extra reflective, so like projectiles constantly
and I
bounced
was
off of me.
rocking Icemans all the time.
Yeah.
Because that was turning everybody to ice, and that was awesome because
Yeah.
they would just all freeze, and then you would shatter them.
See,
That stuff was awesome.
that's what I didn't like about the game is that there's a lot of cool things in there enough to make me not hate it.
Yeah, you would have preferred to have hated it.
I would have.
I hate you because you won't.
That.
Let me hate you
I
totally.
understand what
And
you
the
mean.
thing was, is when I went before, I'd heard a lot of, like a buzz and talking to some of my coworkers that were talking, they know I'm a comic book dork and they know I'm an Xbox dork. So of course we were talking X-Men Destiny, and they're like, "Oh, this is they saying this is terrible. They saying this is terrible." So when I played it, I was already going, "This is going to be the worst game I've ever played." Mm-hmm. So and I did. It wasn't.
It was.
You had rock bottom expectations.
It was.
That's how I live my life.
That is how you live your life,
Right.
Right. That's why I'm on the show. But
That's why you don't have to worry about performing. Because I don't expect a goddamn thing from you.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Enough X-Men Destiny.
Yeah.
It wasn't in your guys's. I might not have to rerun it now. I think I might be able to get it done by after,
think you
after
can.
we're done with the show.
I think you can.
I
the
don't think
way
you need to
that
rerun
the
it
way that
anyway.
I've talked to you and you guys haven't spoiled it for me. Thank you, but
No problem.
I really enjoy like the way that you guys have been talking and getting into the coded words. Seems like I'm close.
I think
you probably are. It really isn't all that long.
If you played more than 2 hours, you're probably pretty close to the end. All right.
Okay.
We mentioned at the top of the show that we do have a couple codes for Fruit Ninja Kinect to give away.
and that was a lie. Ha ha.
Ha, suck it. Thanks for wasting 2 hours of your life. No Fruit
but
Kinect
thank
Ninja
you.
for you. No, but thank you, really. Appreciate it. So we're not going to do anything too complicated about it. You're just going to email us at comments@signedinpodcast.com, our normal email address, and tell us why you deserve it. We're going to pick the funniest 2 winners based on our own
That's right.
preferences.
You guys both have a code. You should each be in charge of choosing a winner.
We could do that if you want to.
We could.
We want to involve you, though, Craig.
Oh, okay.
It's a majority rules.
I could be the moderator.
The 2 funniest. You'll be the tiebreaker. if
You'll be
need
the
the tiebreaker.
Ty goes the runner.
So it's 2 funniest reasons of why you deserve Fruit Ninja Kinect, and we'll award those on the next episode.
Yeah.
We'll do it live on the show. How about that? Live on tape.
Well, cool.
So just email us at comments@signedinpodcast.com. And, we were trying to work out maybe an option of having people do Insult Ninja. So there's a little tip in for you. If you can work out the Insult Ninja, you'll probably win. If you can get him worked in there. But that requires context, so that's a lot more work.
Yeah.
Difficulty.
You might have to do a setup.
Yeah.
Or even a cartoon.
There's that, or you might have to look back at some old episodes to, see what he's been up to lately, or...
Or also, if you write and say, I should win it because I think Sean's a douche, I'll probably pick you as a winner.
Oh.
I might even pick you then, too.
You'll win 2 codes.
Because then I'll email you, like, every day.
Because now he has your address.
Because I'll be, am I a douche today? Am I a douche today?
So email us again, comments at signedinpodcast.com. We'll give out 2 of those next episode. Signedinpodcast.com is our website. You can check out links to our Twitter, our Facebook, all the past episodes, our link to our forums, and all of the other pseudo radio shows like 3 Die Block and The Pull List. All of our other 2 shows.
All of our other 2 shows, like this entire list of them.
Like this entire list of 2. Again, comments at signedinpodcast.com is our email address. Email us anytime, but especially now with that contest, that would be appreciated.
Yes.
And if you find us on iTunes, please leave a review or a rating to help us get out there and get us up the charts. We want them hits, kids.
Up the charts.
It's all about the hits. Up the charts, yo. The hottest and the newest and the greatest. I don't know what I'm talking about. Next episode, Batman Arkham City's coming out in the next couple of weeks.
That's right. It'll be shortly before the show, though. Right?
It will be. I don't know if I'll have enough time in on it.
Yeah. I think that Dungeon Defenders game, does that come out?
It does come out in the next couple of weeks as well. Dead Rising 2, the off the record bullshit that they're doing is coming out. I might check that out, even though you haven't unwrapped your shut up,
your copy.
Dick. I was going to say that myself. It's okay if I do it, not if you do it.
That's why I said it.
I know.
Be sure to check out those Arkham Asylum our Avatar stuff. It's awesome.
Nerd.
I am a nerd, and to be honest, that's what kept me from buying whatchamacallit this week.
Wizorb.
Well, Wizorb
because
is
you spent
one.
money on clothes.
Wizorb is one, and Orcs Must Die is the other. Yeah,
Because you spent money on your Avatar clothes.
I did.
It's his choice.
It is his choice.
They put Walking Dead stuff up too. Awesome.
Oh boy.
I know.
Also, Spider-Man: Edge of Time came out this last week, which I've just got a little bit of, but maybe we'll all get a chance to take a look at.
I hope so.
I hope to play some of that. I really enjoyed.
We'll do that some next
Shattered
episode.
Dimensions.
Those the Spider-Man games are good. They do it. They do it well.
We shall see. That's all I'll say on the subject.
He's just gonna hate on it.
I am gonna maybe hate on it. So that's it. Oh. I'm shutting this shit down. I'm unplugging your goddamn microphone. Look at that shit. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, we're done.
Bye, everybody.
Later. See ya.
This has been a pseudo radio production. Repeat, this has been a pseudo radio production, copyright 2011.